Grothman from Wisconsin.
Thank you. Got to respond to a little bit of that. First of all, wages are stagnating. They're stagnating under the law of supply and demand. We just had a president who led 10 million people in this country. Of course, wages are stagnating. And I think a lot of times the business community is just fine with that. I've had businessmen complain to me. You know, I have to give my workers another raise here. Isn't that horrible? You know, can't we have more immigrants around here? So we know why wages are stagnating. They're stagnating because of excessive immigration. As far as our universities, there's no diversity of thought there. My one other comment, you talk about people who think and read. In my experience, people who are skeptical of our medical community or our pharmaceutical community are the most well-read people in my district. That's why they're skeptical. They go beyond just the blather you get in the mainstream media. But okay, now we got to ask some questions here. I'll ask one of you folks. It seems to me that we, am I correct here? We have more pharmaceuticals per person prescribed, consumed, or whatever in this country, in the world, or at least more than any other Western countries? You don't know. Okay, we'll try to give you another question. Do we have more antidepressants consumed in this country than other countries? We don't know. Stumped again. Okay. Okay. We'll go for Mr. Williams. Americans have been grappling with, I'll digress for a second. As far as bringing new pharmaceuticals on the market, do you believe the pharmaceutical industry itself has a disproportionate influence in determining which drugs come on the market and which off-brand drugs are not going to be researched?
My expertise is in food safety and nutrition, not in pharmaceuticals, unfortunately.
Okay, well, we'll give you a food question then. Americans have been grappling with high inflation, especially food inflation, during the Biden administration. Grocery prices rose 22%. Would you simplify the FDA's food regulatory structure to lower prices? Could you give me some examples of what could be done?
Yeah, I believe that is exactly what I would do. I think a lot of the problem with FDA's food regulations, from my expertise, and it really is now going on over 40 years, and I continue to look at it, is that too many of FDA's regulations were not being made because it was going to keep food safer or because it was going to help nutrition. A lot of it is because of some firms controlling FDA, saying we want regulations to put our competitors at a disadvantage. All those regulations have to be complied with, and all of that compliance by those firms raises prices. They don't pay for the regulations. This is a big misunderstanding, particularly in FDA. It's consumers.
Can you give me a ballpark number on which you think food prices could drop if we didn't have what I'll refer to as unnecessary regulation?
I wish I had that information. I don't. But I think it would certainly help. And it would certainly help FDA to focus their resources, to target their inspections and focus their resources on real risk.
Okay. We'll give Mr. Bentley a question, or Mr. Miller. America does spend a great deal on medicine, and a lot of that is on drugs. Nevertheless, our life expectancy seems to be less than other developed countries. Can you comment on that?
Congressman, my expertise is mostly in tobacco policy, but I will say an easy way that we could increase life expectancy and reduce cancer is have more authorized, safer alternatives to cigarettes onto the market, which FDA has been stymieing for the last 5 years.
Okay, Mr. Miller, you got any comments?
I would just add that when it comes to holistic products made from American agriculture like hemp, these give alternatives to pharmaceuticals that a lot of Americans find tremendous relief in, and we should be promoting them, but we should also, as I've been saying, regulate them strictly.
Okay, I'll give Mr. Bentley and Williams and Mr. Fourth one down the line, one more question or one more crack at it. It seems to me, compared to other countries, that we are over-medicated, and I'm not sure that it's resulting in better health. Could you comment on that?
Congressman, my expertise is not in that area, but I will say that our drug supply, which is my expertise, is probably the safest in the world. In fact, the next time you go up and pick up a prescription, you probably should buy a $2 lottery ticket. You're more likely to hit that than to ever get a counterfeit medicine in a pharmacy. It's really the pride of the world.
Thank you.
I'll just add to that. In fact, I think medicine has been responsible for our longevity up till now, but I think it's time to focus on prevention. And I'm very glad to see that there are a number of people entering government now that are focused on prevention more than medicalizing people who are already ill.
Okay. Before I recognize Mr. Mfume, Mr. Christian Morte has asked for